Hi again. Yes, it's me with another Mediterranean plant with amazing health benefits. But first, just to get this out of the way, despite being called curry plant, Helichrysum italicum has nothing to do with Indian curry. It smells vaguely like curry powder, but it is not the curry spice mix or curry tree used in Indian cuisine. So that's all, and now let's dive in. What is Helichrysum italicum? Helichrysum italicum is a perennial woody shrub of the Asteraceae family, native to the Mediterranean region. Sun-loving, drought-tolerant, often found on rocky slopes. Yay! Its common names include immortal, everlasting, curry plant, due to its curry-like aroma, surprisingly. But the Latin name Helichrysum comes from Greek helios, which means sun, and chryos, which means gold, a nod to its golden blooms. Traditionally, in Mediterranean folk herbal medicine, the flowers and leaves have been used for skin issues, inflammation, wounds, digestive disorders, and even more. But in modern times, researchers have started to look at its chemical makeup: flavonoids, phenolic acids, for example chlorogenic acid, terpenes, and other bioactives. By the way, chlorogenic acid can be also found in coffee, and it is one of the main reasons coffee tastes the way it does. Studies show this plant is loaded with different compounds, and these compounds do everything from fighting inflammation to healing wounds. So let's dive into particular details about this topic. What does science actually say? Many in vitro and animal studies show that extracts of Helichrysum italicum poses significant antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activity. For example, a review of Helichrysum italicum chemistry showed that its flavonoids and terpenes don't just smell amazing, they actively suppress bacterial and fungal growth while calming inflammation at the molecular level. In cell studies, these compounds downregulated key enzymes of the arachidonic acid pathway, like COX and LOX, which are the same inflammatory switches targeted by many painkillers such as ibuprofen or paracetamol. Remember kava kava? It was also a COX inhibitor. This means the plant's essential oils and extracts help limit the production of prostaglandins and leukotrienes, the molecules that drive swelling, redness, and pain. Another strong area: skin and wound healing. For instance, one recent study from 2024 found that Helichrysum italicum hydrolate stimulated skin fibroblasts and stem cells to migrate and proliferate faster after injury, accelerating closure of a scratch wound in vitro. It also boosted the expression of key regeneration genes like SOX2 and OCT4 while reducing senescence signals, suggesting it helped preserve the cell's youthful, repair-oriented state. And this is pretty promising, so let's look at it in more detail. Here we are looking at the gene expression data from the Helichrysum italicum hydrolate study, especially how the treatment affected stem cell regeneration genes after a scratch wound test. On the left, you see SOX2, in the middle OCT4, and on the right, nano-G. These are the so-called stemness genes, the molecular switches that keep cells youthful, flexible, and able to repair tissue. The darker purple bars labeled CTRL represent untreated cells. As you can see, they are practically flat. Nothing. So that means that there is almost no activation. But when the researchers added 20% or 30% hydrolate, the results shot up dramatically. Hydrolate means like HH. Expression levels of these genes increased 10 to 60-fold depending on the concentration. And that's what the vertical jump means: a huge up, regulation of the cell's self-renewal machinery. Each asterisk marks a statistically significant difference. So these are real effects, not just some kind of random noise. And this suggests that even a mild water-based extract of Helichrysum italicum curry plant carries enough bioactive compounds to wake up dormant repair genes, helping the skin heal itself from within. And it's fucking beautiful. The same study showed that Helichrysum italicum extracts promoted collagen type 1 deposition, the main structure protein of the skin, and enhanced matrix remodeling during healing. By activating fibroblasts and encouraging new collagen synthesis, the extract supported the reconstruction of extracellular scaffold that restores tissue strength and elasticity. So, if you are thinking, nice for skin, there's real mechanistic data to support it. There is also interesting but preliminary evidence for antimicrobial / microbiome supportive effects. For example, a review article noted Helichrysum italicum extracts show antimicrobial activity against Staphylococcus aureus, Candida, albicans, etc. in vitro. Moreover, multiple studies mention a fascinating finding that an infusion of the plant significantly lowered levels of interleukin-1 beta, a key pro-inflammatory cytokine, often described as the body's alarm bell for immune activation, and also it lowered zonulin, a gut-derived protein that regulates intestinal permeability. By the way, what is zonulin? We should all know zonulin because when zonulin levels rise, the tight junctions between intestinal cells loosen, and this phenomenon is often called leaky gut, and it allows inflammatory molecules to enter circulation and amplify, systemic immune stress. By the way, gluten increases zonulin. It increases it as fuck, so do not ingest gluten, trust me. And you can guess, elevated interleukin-1 beta and zonulin are both linked to chronic inflammation in the gut, joints, skin, and even the brain. In the same study, the infusion also modulated the gut microbiota, boosting beneficial bacterial species while reducing potentially pathogenic ones. This dual action, that means tightening the gut barrier and calming the cytokine storm, suggests that Helichrysum italicum may help balance inflammation systemically through the gut immune axis. By lowering interleukin-1 beta signaling and zonulin activity, while reshaping microbial ecology, the plant seems to support somehow quieter, more resilient environment within our bodies. Though this still remains an early but fascinating signal, more data is needed, but I guess this study is pretty impressive, or these studies are impressive. And now, what's really interesting is that Helichrysum italicum isn't just skin and intestine herb. Traditionally, Mediterranean healers used it for the liver, gallbladder, and digestive tract, and recent lab works is starting to explain why. Extracts of Helichrysum italicum appear to reduce gut inflammation and protect intestinal cells from oxidative stress, partly by downregulating NF-kappa B and aforementioned EL1 beta, and interleukin-6 and TNF-alpha, tumor necrosis factor alpha. And these are, the same inflammatory messengers that trigger bloating, discomfort, and intestinal permeability. Yes, I told something about AL1 beta, and I was also, talking a lot about these other stuff, such as EL6 and TNF-alpha, in my previous video on cystis, so you can check it out. Some animal models suggest it may also support liver enzyme balance, which could explain why it was once given after heavy meals or alcohol. And since bile acids regulate gut microbiota, this somehow reconnects beautifully with that earlier study showing Helichrysum italicum infusions reshaping the gut microbial ecosystem towards a healthier profile, let's say. Beyond the skin and digestion, there are some fascinating side notes worth mentioning, such as sleep and mood, for example. Folk medicine used the plant's tea as a mild sedative, and that might not be a pure placebo. Sesquiterpenes and flavonoids in Helichrysum italicum can modulate GABAergic signaling and oxidative stress in neurons, producing a subtle calming or balancing effect rather than, direct sedation. Curry plant has also some insecticidal and protective properties. The same terpenes responsible for its unique spicy herbal aroma, mainly neryl acetate and italicum compounds, also act as natural insect repellents. And that's why the plant survives sun-blasted, Mediterranean slopes without being eaten alive by insect. So good for it. And also, I don't want to forget about nerves and arteries, because the antioxidant compounds in Helichrysum, especially flavonoids like naringenin derivates and phenolic acids, may also protect vascular and nerve tissues by reducing lipid peroxidation and supporting mitochondrial function in endothelial and neural cells. And what about the effects? What I and you might feel? Personally, when I've used Helichrysum italicum tea, I didn't use the topicals. I have experienced somehow gentle or mild sense of calm, subtle clear-headedness, though I'm not sure if those were real effects and not just placebo, and your experience may vary. And to be frank, much of what you'll feel may come down to expectation or the rest of your lifestyle, diet, and etc. Maybe if you drink 10 coffees a day, you certainly wouldn't feel anything. But I really do not know what to compare it to. It is a very unique plant, and yeah, the taste is nice. It tastes like curry, by the way, the Indian one. So that's it. And now, if you want to try Helichrysum italicum, there are a couple of ways. You can try infusion or tea, and yeah, just use dried aerial parts, that means flowers and leaves, not the roots, and pour hot, for example, 80 to 90 degrees of Celsius water over 1 tablespoon of the leaves per cup, cover, steep for 8 to 10 minutes, and strain and drink. This simply extracts polyphenols without excessive bitterness. And now let's say something about skincare and topicals. Many skincare products contain Helichrysum italicum extracts or oils, but if you want to make these skincare products for yourself, and you have your essential oil, always dilute it in a carrier. For example, 2 to 3 drops of essential oil in approximately 10 milliliters of carrier, and batch test it first. And also, if you are using supplements, tinctures, or extracts labeled Immortal, Curry Plant, or whatever, check that they show the Latin name and ideally some standardization of active compounds. And now let's talk about a few safety notes. Curry plant or Helichrysum italicum is generally considered and regarded as safe in topical and traditional use, but human clinical safety data is very limited. For example, there has been a case reported of allergic contact dermatitis from a cream containing Helichrysum italicum extract. The review also flags that some flavonoids in Helichrysum italicum inhibited CYP, cytochrome P450, isoforms in vitro, meaning potential drug interactions for medications metabolized by those pathways. So if you want to try it, you should better just test it in a small amount on your skin. And that's a general rule with basically everything. If you are pregnant, have liver disease, or are on medications, especially anticoagulants or immunosuppressants, talk to a qualified healthcare professional before regular use. And yes, despite smelling like curry, do not use it as the spice in your chicken curry. Just saying. So Helichrysum italicum has credible mechanistic support for anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, antimicrobial, and tissue repairing properties. And if you're into gentle botanical support, skincare, or just want a calming herbal experience from the Mediterranean, Helichrysum italicum is a plant worth exploring. Just keep your expectations realistic and take care of your sourcing. If you have a favorite way to use it, drop it in the comments. I am sincerely curious because I've been just drinking this plant and haven't tried it yet in other form. So yeah, that's it. And if you like this video, subscribe, hit like, ring the bell, or don't. I don't know. If you want more of this herbal geek stuff, I'll keep coming. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and keep enjoying the flowers of the Mediterranean. Goodbye.